Around the world, we've been seeing a strange phenomenon that so far science has been unable to explain definitively. Well, it's here again, this time in the Lone Star State. We all know Texas is probably best known for its cowboys and cattle, but wait until you see this. June 5th, 2019. It's dusk in the West Texas desert outside the town of Marfa, about 400 miles from the capital of Austin. Margaret Collier is with her family on the side of the road, hoping to see something that has been reported for well over 100 years. And just as the sun begins to go down, she captures this. Bright glowing orbs appear on the horizon that begin to twinkle and then disappear.
It's like flickering and changing colors.
I think the big surprise moment for me was when they really started, lighting up and splitting off and all the different colors showing up. That was the most exciting for me.
Then as night falls, Margaret continues to film the lights dancing over the desert plains.
I was just so mesmerized by it. It would be really cool if it was something paranormal or alien related.
What are these strange balls of energy? Journalist MJ Banias explains this mysterious phenomenon is known as the Marfa lights.
The Marfa lights fall into a broader category of light phenomena we often refer to as ghost lights. Ghost lights are these anomalous sources of light that appear and disappear at random in a given area. People have no idea where they come from.
Banias explains that ever since the first documented case of the lights was reported by a cowhand back in 1883, there have been plenty of theories as to what they could be.
The local indigenous group in the area, the Apache, believe that these lights are the ghost of a long-dead chief named Asalte. According to the legend, Asalte was killed by a Mexican firing squad in 1882. And what people are seeing is his ghost roaming through the territory for some unfinished business.
But while many experts believe there must be a more scientific explanation, Banias says exactly what they could be is up for debate.
They would say that this is some sort of other light phenomena, whether it's some sort of electromagnetic phenomenon, humidity mixing with electricity in the air, causing sparks. But between these different theories, supernatural versus natural, we still don't really know what causes the Marfa lights. It still remains a mystery to this day.
So what do we have here? It has been said that if you ask 100 different people what the Marfa lights are, you will get 100 different answers. In fact, many come together each summer for the Marfa Lights Festival. But admittedly, that's more of a party than a scientific conference. For that angle, we'll need to ask our experts what they think. We begin with astronomer and video effects designer Mark D'Antonio. Is there a logical explanation? Is this simply car lights in the distance?
I don't think so. What we watch here, these lights are pretty stationary. And the Marfa lights have been seen for over 100 years. And we didn't have cars and highways back then.
Could this then be a natural event? D'Antonio explains.
Maybe it could be static discharge. Lights generated by the planet because of static charge, current being generated by rushing water in through a particular rock strata. It's like when you rub your feet in the carpet and you touch something.
While D'Antonio can't rule out static discharge, most of us associate flashes of light and electrical activity with the weather. So is this an atmospheric event? We take that question to meteorologist Juan Hernandez.
When light is created by the atmosphere, it comes from electrical charges, such as lightning. It's a very big flash, something that is very quick to happen and then disappears. But to get storms, we need moisture. We need plenty of shear. We need something to move across the region to create those storms. In this case, it's a clear day, which would rule out the possibility of an atmospheric phenomenon causing these lights.
While Hernandez rules out weather above ground, D'Antonio notes another theory comes from below. Are gases from beneath the ground being released and igniting from tectonic forces?
The theory is that lights that are generated by some type of electrical energy, coupled with some magnetic influences perhaps underground, that ends up becoming visible in the air as some type of lit phenomenon. Certainly something is glowing.
But Hernandez isn't so sure.
Tectonic activity is unlikely to have caused these lights because in reality, There is no significant tectonic movement in the Marfa region. It all is associated across the West Coast and some portions of the East Coast.
What's exciting is nobody really knows. That's cool. And so I think the Marfa lights are really a true modern mystery that we don't have answers to.
Our verdict? We're going with unexplained phenomenon. Like we've seen before with similar mysterious unexplained lights around the world, there are too many theories to settle on just one. But that doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. So the next time you're traveling through Marfa, Texas, be sure to stop on the side of the road and get us more footage to investigate. September 2018, it's a warm night in Tomball, Texas, just north of Houston. Nick Daly and a group of his friends have come home from dinner to their apartment complex when they are astounded by mysterious lights in the sky.
Oh my God.
Take a closer look. 3 teardrop-shaped glowing objects appear to hover in a deliberate, coordinated motion. Nick's friend also begins recording. One thing is for sure, Nick has never seen anything like it.
They were circling around in formation and then come back to a triangle formation. It was incredible.
But as the crowd stands transfixed by the mysterious lights, the UFOs suddenly disappear and then reappear.
Look at him. Look at it. Look at him.
Nick is convinced whatever he witnessed, it's not from this world.
I am ex-military. I was in the United States Air Force. I've never seen flares act like that. I've never seen planes like that. It looks like UFOs to me.
According to author and journalist Alexis Brooks, this is far from the first time mysterious lights have been spotted in the Lone Star State.
These very strange UFO-type lights have been seen as recently as April of 2022 in a town called Kyle, Texas. These lights emanated a sort of orange glow, and local officials came up with no explanation.
And these eerie, shimmering lights are similar to the ones seen in Tomball, but with one even more mysterious difference.
In the case of the Tomball UFO sequence, we have something that has been referred to as phasing, that some of these craft change their atomic structure so that they appear to be dematerializing and rematerializing. So is Texas rife with UFOs?
One of the first reported UFO incidents in Texas was on April 17, 1897, when a UFO crashed on a farm near Aurora, Texas, with claims of an alien pilot found dead inside. So have those aliens returned? Or is there another way to explain what Nick and his friends saw? Let's ask the experts. First, we ask video forensic expert Michael Primo to examine the footage. Does what we see appear to be authentic?
We examined the file to determine if there were any original file signatures. No known file signatures were identified, and at this low of spatial resolution, it's very difficult to make determinations in reference to CGI. However, when the videos are placed side by side and synchronized, whatever occurred in the sky appears to be consistent across both videos.
Next, we go to aviation expert Tim McMillan. Are we simply looking at conventional aircraft, like an airplane or helicopter?
We're not seeing movements that are consistent with fixed-wing aircraft. What we're looking at here, they're really close, so they're violating how close you want to be to another aircraft. Close proximity, it becomes even more dangerous for a collision.
McMillan is also skeptical these could be another common flying machine.
Drone would match up best for what we've seen so far. But if they're drones, we have to start taking into account the amount of energy it takes. And so for these to be bright lights, they're not going to be able to stay up for very long because they're just going to drain that battery power.
We asked astronomer and video effects editor Mark D'Antonio if the answer is in front of us all along. Could they be sky lanterns?
Sky lanterns are possible, but they don't move the way these did. Sky lanterns are very subject to the wind. What they wouldn't do is sort of circle around each other, and at certain points in the video, they're leaving like a tail almost. That is very telling information.
In fact, D'Antonio believes those streaks are the final piece of the puzzle.
I think that this actually was very likely skydivers with flares.
But if these are nighttime skydivers, why then would they be jumping over Tomball, Texas at night? D'Antonio points to a similar event in Tomball 5 years earlier in 2013, which also featured slowly drifting lights.
there was a high school game, and they did in fact have skydivers with flares skydive into the game. We actually saw the three in the sky, and they separated from each other, and they actually left trails behind them, and that trail could be illuminated smoke from the flare brightness.
While D'Antonio makes a strong case for parachuters with flares, our research hasn't been able to confirm there was a parachute demonstration that night in Tomball. And without definitive visual proof, we think many alternate possibilities are still on the table. Our verdict? For now, we're gonna go with unexplained phenomenon. But if you're in Texas, be sure to keep looking up and send us what you see. March 2017. Erica Garner is home alone in her house just outside Houston. Her husband has left for a business trip.
I was outside, I was playing with my two dogs, and I noticed something very strange on my rooftop. There was black birds going in a circle. I had never seen that before.
This feels like some sort of omen as Erica goes back inside. She's giving water to her dogs when suddenly...
Oh! What was that?
Let's freeze on that, because if you blink, you'll miss it. A strange blue light streaking through the room, leaving Erica stunned and momentarily at a loss for words.
That's weird.
It was almost like plasma. Everything in the room turned completely white, almost like an explosion, and my eyes started burning.
Okay, it's really weird.
Even stranger, the flash only lasts a second, though Erica says it felt much longer.
What was that?
It traveled almost like it was a train coming across the room, slowly coming in for a stop. And this happened for all about 7 seconds.
And that night, things get downright funky.
I had trouble sleeping, I was having some strange dreams, and it definitely impacted me.
Erica's dreams of pink and purple galaxies make her feel like she's been transported through time. And she wonders if the blue flash could have been an extraterrestrial force.
Into my research, trying to figure out what possibly a blue beam of light could come from, people have said they've experienced alien abductions and they might see a blue beam of light.
One similar case happened in 1975. An Arizona logger named Travis Walton disappeared after walking toward an unidentified beam of light in the forest. He recalled being transported to a strange place surrounded by alien beings. And when he made it home, he was shocked to learn he'd been gone for 5 days.
There are definitely things in this world that we do not understand.
So what is Erica's blue flash? Well, we know it's not her security camera malfunctioning because we can hear her reacting in real time.
Oh, what was that?
So the first thing we did was a proper analysis of the footage. Photography expert Andrew McCarthy starts by examining the footage frame by frame.
So right after this, the camera lost several frames. You see a distinct jump. Her hair moves, the dogs move. It's just a significant jump. She said it was 7 seconds. I'm not sure if it was 7 seconds, but it was a long time, long enough that they significantly shifted positions.
But McCarthy says there's something else that's even stranger.
What didn't make sense to me is nothing here is casting a shadow. It seems like the light source would be coming behind the camera to cause this, but you would see some kind of shadow cast on the legs of these chairs, you know, on the dogs. But you don't see any of that. It's just bright, and it's uniformly bright.
Forensic investigator Chase Klotsky is curious if the flash could be something as simple as a burnt-out light bulb. So she asks the Garners to run a test.
Erica and her husband put this light bulb in, and they tapped it. And if you tap it long enough, it burned out. Once you compare when the light bulb blows out and that reaction, and you put it next to the blue flash, they're not even close.
Okay, so if it wasn't a blown bulb, was it possibly a strike of lightning from outside? Atmospheric scientist Deanna Hentz reviews the local weather radar from that day.
What you're seeing is that a round of fairly intense thunderstorms went through the Houston area, but it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, whereas this video was taken at 11:30 in the morning. That really leaves me to think that lightning is not responsible for that flash.
Some experts believe wormholes in the universe create paths to move backwards in time and through parallel universes. Perhaps the blue flash was one such path.
I stand more on the side of this being a time glitch. It's an error in our time-space fabric.
What was that?
So what is it? The strange jump in the footage does point to some kind of time glitch, but whether it's caused by an alien force, a wormhole, or something else is unclear. So for now, I'm prepared to call this a genuine, unexplained phenomenon. One night in 2015, a group of veteran fishermen is out on a routine trip when they come across something they cannot explain. A camera on board captures a strange, bright blue-green light glowing just below the surface of the lake. As you can see when the camera zooms out, the light stays put in the choppy waters as the ship heads back to shore. Locals have long believed strange things are happening below the surface here.
Lake Baikal is a hotbed of UFO activity. So if there's beings coming from a different planet, we would expect that they might want to set up a base here on Earth. So a place like Lake Baikal could be a very good location.
Journalist MJ Banias recalls one reported encounter in the lake that lends credence to this theory.
There's a strange story that comes out of Lake Baikal in 1982. Russian divers were operating under the water when all of a sudden they bumped into these strange creatures. According to the story, these creatures were wearing silvery suits. They were humanoid in appearance. The divers were so shocked by what they saw that they tried to quickly leave the area, and 3 died due to coming up too quickly from the depths of Lake Baikal.
This blue light has never been seen again. So who or what created it?
There is undoubtedly animal life down there that has yet to be found. Whether that animal life is alien in nature, that is still in the realm of speculation.
2/3 of the 2,000 plant and animal species living around Lake Baikal can't be found anywhere else in the world, so it's already a unique place. But does this video indicate there are extraterrestrial beings camping out there too? Let's let our experts have their say. First, we have video forensic analyst Michael Primo check whether the light could have been digitally inserted in the footage.
It doesn't appear to be CGI. It doesn't look like something that was added after the fact.
It's possible, then, that we're just looking at a searchlight from another unseen boat or an aircraft, based on how light should act on a lake such as this. But physics professor Michio Kaku throws cold water on that idea.
The surface ripples in all directions. Some of the light would have been reflected in different angles, but we see no evidence of an external light source.
An external light source would fan across the water like this, but we see nothing like that here. That also rules out the reflection of the moon. So if it's something under the lake, marine biologist Shay Conger examines if it could be coming from a man-made underwater vessel.
You wouldn't have an artificial light on during the night if you wanted to study animals in their natural environment. So it seems pretty unlikely this is some sort of a research vehicle.
It's well known that bioluminescent marine life glows at night, but Conger doubts that's what is happening here either.
We don't actually have any bioluminescent animals in Lake Baikal. It's a freshwater body of water. In addition, bioluminescent animals tend to act in kind of a flashy manner. We would see a flash of light and then it would dissipate. This is a solid light source, so I can actually rule out the fact that it might be some type of animal. I'd conclude that this is some sort of underwater technology that's really difficult to understand or make sense of.
Our verdict? This is still an unexplained phenomenon. We can't say for sure whether or not it's from something extraterrestrial. But 2 years after this incident, a mysterious mass death of seals in the lake also baffled researchers.